Well, hey everybody, Mr. E's back with you, and today we are continuing to talk about working with algebraic expressions. Specifically, we are simplifying expressions by doing two things, combining like terms and applying the distributive property. And today, we're going to look at putting those two things together. We've done them separately. We've combined like terms. We have used the distributive property, and today we're going to do both at the same time. All right, so we are in lesson 6.1 of the Math 7 textbook, although we're going to be working with some outside resources. So let me go ahead and pull up one of those outside resources here. So just a quick review of combining like terms. Like terms are terms that have the same variable or variables to the same power or powers. In other words, exponents. All right, but we're pretty much going to be working with ones that do not have exponents. So if we take a look right here at this first page that we have here, let's just do a couple of these together. All right, if we look at this first problem, 5x plus 6x. All right, well, I've got 5x's here and 6x's here. So we look at those numbers in front. Remember, a number or a constant in front of a variable is called a coefficient. It tells you how many of that item behind it that you have. So this is like 5x's being added to 6x's. Well, that simply gives us 11x's. All right. Now, if we jump over here to number 7, we have a, b, and a constant. All right, so the 3a is going to be a like term with the 7a. I can put those two together. 3a plus 7a is going to give me 10a, right? And then if you look, I have 7b here, but no other b's, so I just write it down. And then I have 4, but no other constants, and I just write it down. So if you are simplifying an expression, remember to simplify an expression means to write it in a more simple way, to combine like terms, to distribute, to condense it as much as we can. All right, when you do not have any like terms, you simply write them down. All right, so let's jump down here to number 10. Let's see, I've got 9a here, and I've got 4a here. Well, 9a plus 4a, that's going to give me 13a. All right, and then I have 4b being added to 5b, and that's going to give me 9b. And finally, I have a plus 4 and a plus 7, and when you add 4 to 7, you get plus 11. So you can see it is more simplified. I went from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 terms and combined it down to 1, 2, 3 terms. All right. Of course, sometimes we're not just going to have positive terms. Sometimes we have negative terms or we have subtraction. So then we have to be careful of signs here. So if we look at number 1, I've got 9a plus 3 minus 2a. Again, the 9a is a like term with the 2a, but as I mentioned in our previous outing, we need to grab that operation in front. All right, so I have 9a minus 2a. So that's going to get, not 11a, we're subtracting. 9a minus 2a is going to give me 7a. And then again, that plus 3 is just kind of hanging out there. So it's plus 3. All right, if we jump down to number 5, I've got 5a. And then I've got this plus a here. All right, so I'm going to grab that right there. So 5a plus a, that's going to give me 6a. All right. And then I have this minus 9b. All right, and then again, I'm going to grab that minus in front of there. So if I take away 9 and then take away 16, that's taking away 15b. All right, so that's a quick review of combining like terms. What about the distributive property? Remember, the distributive property was when you had a number out in front of parentheses and it tells you that you're going to multiply. Again, when you have parentheses like that, 3 parentheses 4, that means 3 times 4, that means 12. So a number out in front of parentheses tells me I'm going to multiply. When I have more than one thing on the inside, then I distribute that multiplication. So this would become 3 times n, which would be 3n. And then the second one is 3 times 7, which they already have, which is 21, And right here we have the plus, so this is our plus. So 3n plus 21 again because it was 3 times n and 3 times 7. All right, so if you take a look down here at this one here, we had 7 times p, that gave us the 7p. We had 7 times q, that gave us the 7q. And then we had 7 times 4, and that would give us 28. By the way, when you go the other direction, it's called factoring. When they give you an expression and then they ask you to write it as it was before it was distributed, now we look and we say, well, what do they have in common? They both have that 8, so we do a process called factoring out the 8. And you can see, of course, if we went through and distributed, we would end up back over here. All right, so if you took a look at this one right here, 2d plus 12, well, 2 and 12 are both divisible by 2, so if I factor out that 2, well, 2d, when I divide that 2, I get d, right? And then 12, when I divide by 2, I get 6. And remember, a variable times itself gives you squared, so right here, see how I have x squared? That means I would have to have x times x to give me x squared. Right here, if I did x times x, that would give me x squared. Again, so the distributive property is when we multiply by what's outside. We multiply outside by what's inside. 2 times 15, that's going to give me 30, plus 2 times q, that's going to give me 2q. And what do we want to do now? Now we want to go ahead and combine these, and we're now going to be looking at problems where we do both applying the distributive property and combining like terms. We're going to apply the distributive property and combine like terms, and that's going to simplify our expression. So we're going to be simplifying expressions by distributing and combining like terms. All right, now remember, when we are simplifying or evaluating an expression, we must follow the correct order of operations. And the correct order of operations tells us to do what is inside the parentheses first, okay? Do what's inside the parentheses, then any exponents, then multiplication and division from left to right, and then addition and subtraction from left to right. All right, so we should know that when you are distributing, as I've talked about before, distributing is multiplication. Okay? So distributing is multiplication. So in order of operations, distributing, okay, I'm going to highlight it in orange. Distributing is right there in PEMDAS. And then combining like terms, is adding or subtracting, or addition and subtraction. Okay, so combining like terms is addition and subtraction. All right, so that is right here. So do you see how the orange comes before the green? The orange comes before the green, so we're going to distribute before we combine like terms. All right, so we're going to distribute before we combine like terms. So I'm going to go ahead and move down here because these other ones have been assigned to you. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look right here at number 12, shall we? Okay, so I'm going to look at this one, number 12, right here as an example. So I've got 8 plus 9x plus 4 times 11 minus 2x. So I've got adding, and then here I have multiplication. So what did I just say? We're going to multiply first. We're going to distribute. So let me do it this way. That's better. We're going to distribute that multiplication of 4. So this is going to become 4 times 11 minus 4 times 2x. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to distribute. So when I do that, at the top I have 8 because I haven't done anything with that 8 yet. I have 9x because I haven't done anything with that 9x. And then I have plus, let's see, 4 times 11 is 44. And then I've got minus right here, 4 times 2x is 8x. Okay, so first thing I did was I distributed. Okay, and now second, I'm going to combine my like terms. I'm going to combine. Yes, that actually does say combine. Let's try that again. COMBINE. Combine L period T period. Combine my like terms. Okay, so what are my like terms? Well, I like to start with the variable terms. So I've got 9x and 8x, but remember, we're going to grab that operation in front of it. So I have 9x take away 8x. Well, 9x take away 8x is 1x, but we just write x, okay? And then what do I have right here? I've got 8 and then plus 44, all right? So 8 plus 44, those are both constants, so they are like terms. 8 plus 44 is 52. So x plus 52 is my answer. And the great thing about these matching problems is you can know if you got it right, because if you look at your answer and it's one of these over here, you could be pretty darn confident that that is the correct answer. So if this were actually, if I were doing this worksheet for number 12, I would choose the letter M, and that's the answer that I would put in. Okay? All right, let's go ahead then and do the second problem here. I'm going to erase this one to give myself more space here. Okay? All right, I'm going to do number 13 now. Here we go. Number 13. I'm going to go ahead and leave the answer there, though. Actually, I'm going to put it right here next to it because I want to have this white space here to work. Okay, so again, if we look at step one is going to be distribute. All right, so when we are simplifying, we're going to distribute first that -4 times those two terms, and then later on we're going to be combining like terms. So up here I'm going to have -4 times -2x, right? And then I'm going to have minus, because this is a minus, -4 times 7. All right, and I talked about this in the last video. Let's be very, very careful. Here's my -4. There's my -4, right? I'm distributing the -4. Here is my -2x, right? There, whoops. Tried to get orange, didn't quite happen. There's my -2x or -2x. There it is. And then here is my 7, right? And this right here in the middle is subtraction. All right, what common mistake do students make? They think of this number as -7, and then they accidentally put -4 times -7. But look what I'm doing. -4 times -2x, then I put the minus, and then I do -4 times 7. Okay, so when we simplify that, here we go. -4 times -2x, I'm going to write it up here. That's going to give me -8x, because a negative times a negative, whoops, it's going to give me a positive 8x, my bad. Because this is why it's good to talk this out, right? Because a negative times a negative is not a negative times a negative is a positive. So I get 8x minus, okay, here we go. Now, this is a negative times a positive, right? So that is a -28, okay? So it's minus a -28. And then I have these I haven't done anything with yet. So I'm going to write them plus 6x plus 7. Okay? So what do we have here? Remember, subtracting a negative is the same as adding a positive. So I get 8x plus 28 plus 6x plus 7. All right? So here we go. So here I have 8x plus 6x. There are my like terms. And remember, when you're looking at your like terms, grab the term and grab the operation in front of it. Okay? So 8x plus 6x gives me 14x. And then what do I have here? Then I have plus 28 and plus 7. Those are both constant like terms being added together. 28 plus 7 is 35. Then I'm going to look over here and say, wait, is it here? 14x plus, it's not here. I've got 14x plus 30. I must have made a mistake here somewhere. Well, let's take a look and see where my mistake was. Oh, I see my mistake right here. look, I was not careful. What does that say right there? That says minus 7. And what did I write? I wrote plus 7, didn't I? Okay, so when we do that, instead of 28 plus 7 is 28 minus 7. And instead of 14x plus 35, I get 14x plus 21, which is right here. Again, wow, see? That's why being able to match or have multiple choice is nice, because if you get an answer that's not there, it alerts you to the mistake. I probably would not have caught that mistake, and I would have gotten that question incorrect. And that is no fun, because we like to be correct, don't we? Okay, so once again, I'm going to go ahead and erase that work that I just did right there. Look at all those pretty colors. Goodbye. All right, and we're going to move on to number 14. Here we go. Number 14 right here. But these same two steps are going to apply. We're going to distribute and we're going to combine like terms. All right, now I have to warn you that it gets a little tricky here when you have subtraction before your distributing, okay? Because this is a positive 3, but it's being subtracted. Okay, so my recommendation to you is when you have a subtraction, all right, and then you need to distribute, change it to adding a negative. All right, when you have a subtraction in front of a distributing problem that you're going to have to do, instead of subtracting a positive, add a negative. So down here I would make this plus a negative. All right, right here I would make this plus a negative. If you have an addition in front of distributing, you don't need to worry about it. All right, but when you have subtraction and then you're going to distribute, it's going to make your life a lot easier if you make it adding a negative. So here we go. So we always distribute before we combine like terms. So here we go. So I'm going to distribute that negative 3 here times both of these terms. So I'm going to have negative 3 times negative 4. There's my plus. And then I'm going to have negative 3 times 3x. All right. So now let's see what that simplifies to. Well, that 9 there I didn't do anything with, so that 9 is still there. All right. A negative 3 times a negative 4 is a positive 12. And notice this is a plus now, okay? So it's plus 9 plus 12, okay? And then it's plus again, negative 3 times 3x. That's going to give me negative 9x. All right, and then plus 12x. All right, so I'm just warning you, these ones can be a little tricky. Remember, I had a minus 3 there. Let's see if I can get my eraser to work. I had a minus 3, a subtraction before distributed. My recommendation is change that to adding the opposite. That gave me negative 3 times negative 4. So I had 9 plus 12 plus, then I had negative 3 times positive 3x. That gave me negative 9x. And then I had plus 12x. All right, hard part's done. Now we're ready to combine like terms. What do I have here? I have 9 plus 12. Those are like terms. Well, 9 plus 12, that's going to give me 21. All right, and then what do I have right here? I have a negative 9x being added to a positive 12x. All right. And what do I have more of? I have more positives. How many more positives do I have? I have 3x, so I get plus 3x. All right, then I look over here, and I don't see exactly 21 plus 3x, but I see 3x plus 21. And addition is commutative, meaning we can switch the order around, and it doesn't change the answer. So there we go. So the answer to that one is H. All right, so combining like terms and distributing, we're doing both of those steps now, but we're going to distribute before we combine like terms. All right. Well, I hope this video was helpful for you. As always, if you need any more help, please feel free to ask as we continue to work with algebraic expressions. Till next time, have a great day. Bye.